Good morning. Good morning, everybody. TGIF. And welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. And of course, it's me, Mitch. Who else would I be this morning? Good to see you. And let's get to it. Let's get to it. Here I am, just like yesterday and the day before. Drink it if you got it. One more, please. Nice and hot. God, that's good. That's good. Well, here we go again. I imagine Kilsa's done over there. They're wrapping it up from up there in Tennessee at Meat Stock, and that was a beautiful looking setting they had up there. I watched Kilsa this morning, enjoyed it. I even commented at one point that my friend Kilsy's on a roll, and he was on a roll this morning, and that was great. I had a good guest, very interesting, and I enjoyed it. I wish I could have been there. But here we are. We're all here at home, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of videos and reporting from Meat Stock. Meat Stock. And I'm sure Rick is busily in his mind fleshing out the plans for Quack Stock in 2030. We're counting on you, Rick. We're counting on you. At any rate, here we are. Here you are. I forgot to create the live stream last night, and woke up this morning and got out here to the computer and went ahead and to set up the studio for the morning show, and I noticed there was no morning show. So for those of you who looked for this to leave a comment last night, sorry about that, but no big deal. Got it created this morning, and of course, first one in this morning was Mike Sealy from Tampa Bay. Hi, Mike. How are you? How are you? Good to see you. And Brian Dish is here. How you doing, Brian? Richard Williams from Tennessee. Is Copper Hill, Tennessee, anywhere near where the Meat Stock? Is that Gaithersburg? I think it is. Never been to that event. Hopefully next year I'll be. I don't want to say well enough because I'm pretty well now, but I'm sure there's a lot of walking around and other physical exertion involved in attending or even speaking at an event like that. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm glad to see Kilsey was able to come online from there this morning. Evidently, he was out in the lobby of the hotel or something, and we watched the Tennessee sunrise come up behind him. It was very pretty up there, a nice blue sky. Here, it's going to be a little gray today, but it's Friday, so Friday can't be a gray day. It's Friday. And to those of you who still work, Friday means a great deal. Unless you happen to work the mid shift or you're an EMT or something and have to, you get Tuesday and Wednesday off, have to work over the weekends. The old standard way of life, 9 to 5, working for a big company, do it for 30 years, retire, move to Florida. That's kind of going by the wayside in our current society. Anyway, Richard, how you doing? Sandy Blythe, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Jerry Voitush. I've got such loyal friends there. Always here. Hi, Jerry. How are you? In Ponte Vedra Beach and Rough Carnivore in Guam. How you doing, my friends? Okay. An answer to my question, and Richard Williams actually put at OldGuyCarnivore in it, and it showed up big and red on my screen, and you can see it scrolling up right there. And he said, I'm at the border of Georgia and North Carolina and Tennessee. Wow, right. I've been there, man, on the interstate. You skirt that area, and it says, you're entering Georgia. No, wait, you're now entering Tennessee. No, wait, you're entering North Carolina. I love it. I remember that area. So that's where Copper Hill is. Okay. Inquiring minds want to know. Lady June, how you doing? Good to see you from England. And we have Mike Silly Sr., as usual, here from Melbourne, Florida. Good morning. And Rick, hello from the septic tank of Florida.
Miami is the cesspool of Florida.
Yo, check out this cesspool.
It's got charm, though.
Yeah, real diamond in the rough.
I couldn't resist. I hope you like that, Rick. Rick is the example on the inspiration for so many of these memes that Barry Simon makes. And yesterday in the panels that we had, both in the morning and the evening, we had a ball with the iguanas and the meat stock and quack stock and everything else. So Rick's a good sport. And I said, Rick is the gift that keeps on giving. I hope you like that stuff. I give you a little smile here in the morning. It certainly helps to cheer me up. A lot of times you wake up with the news comes on, I hear it, and it's so disgusting and ridiculous that it puts you in a kind of a bad mood. And a couple of those things, boom, boom, and you start laughing, and you feel good. And the old adage, laughter is the best medicine. It's probably a more important concept than most of us give it credit for being. Who's this? Wayne Herman, good morning from North Carolina. Well, you're right there next to Tennessee. Tennessee. I think that's how they pronounce it. Brian Airy, good morning, everyone. Brian, how you doing? And who's this? Don Shager, good morning, Don. We up to 7 o'clock yet? No, we're getting close. Brian Dish, hiya, Brian, 6:59, and what a surprise. What a surprise. Drink your bean juice if you got it. It's May Day. It's May Day. Are we having parades? Are we having parades where the soldiers and all the big howitzers roll by in front of us and all the protesters come out? I heard on the news this morning that the protesters are already starting, lining up to protest everything wrong. Enough said about that. That's what I woke up to this morning. No wonder I needed to come in and look at a couple of those memes to snap me back to reality. Incredible. But it is May Day. Can you believe it? May Day. 6 days from my birthday. I'm starting a week-long birthday celebration. Why the hell am I celebrating getting old? I asked myself that question this morning. But I'm going to do it. I guess I'm celebrating still being here and having my brain working. Something that in most 79-year-olds that you find out there is a thing of the past. You know, there might be something to this carnivore, well, as Kelsey said this morning, this carnivore shit after all. Anthony's here. Hi, Anthony. How you doing? And Rick says, let's start quacking. Frankie Calabrese, how you doing, Frankie? Good to see you. Aaron is here. Hi, Aaron. How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. Terry P. from Newfoundland, who I mistakenly called Kathy last night because I'm old and that happens, a senior moment. So, Terry, it was great to see you on our live stream yesterday morning. And speaking of that, I made a policy change last night, a minor one. Since I forgot this panel on Wednesday, I'm going to make it simple on me and basically declare Thursday as viewer panel day on both the morning and the evening live streams. I don't think it makes any difference to anybody really, but I think we'll just keep the theme of that for Thursdays. So Thursday is now viewer panel day here at the Old Guy Carnivore Studios in sunny Melbourne, Florida. Yes, sir. Kevin, Corgi lover. Good morning, Mitch, and the choir. Yes, that's a great metaphor. Preaching to the choir. That's what we do. We've all heard it before, but obviously we need to keep hearing it. Keep hearing the same message over and over again, because there are so many temptations and we're so easily led astray. Yes, good morning, says Lizzie. Hi, Lizzie, how you doing? And Terry P. says good morning to Aaron, and Danny in Boston's with us. Hiya, Danny. How you doing? And this is Fernand Passos from Brazil, from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Bom dia. Ferdinand, how are you this morning? How are you? Chuck, Supertune. I hear the music. Yes, yes. And that happened 12 minutes ago already. Wow, time flies. Time just absolutely flies. Bride's Biscuit is here. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, Mitch and family. And Marla Kelly, how you doing, Marla? And let's see. Chuck is here, Super Tunes. I think I said hi to you already. No, maybe not. Gary, no slow. Hi, Gary. Good morning. Gary was with us on both panels yesterday, both in the morning and the evening. We had a good time last night on the members stream. No women in the panel. We had a great time yesterday morning with all the gals here, but we scared them away for some reason last night. Peter, good morning, Peter. How you doing? Good to see you here. And Josephine Beef Woman, Wild. Raven, 5 a.m. Calgary time. Good morning to you. Sparky, Donna. Hiya, Donna, from Bay Area in California. And Rick says, Quack Stock will be better. Well, that's your responsibility, Rick. We'll see. We'll see. We're all waiting. You got a lot of work to do. The first thing is moving, which is, I think, with all that stuff you have, you're going to need about like a convoy of moving vans. How are you going to get all that stuff out of that house anyway? Chris Wayne from Australia, how you doing? Good to see you. And who is this? This is Brian Airy. And now I'm starting to see a lot of repeats up to 702. A. Mason is here. Good morning to you. Retired Rick is with us. How you doing, Rick? Good to see you. And everybody's busy saying hi to each other now. Let's see if I got anybody I missed. And we'll get down to it. If you have any questions or topics for today, stick them in the chat, QQQ, and we'll steer the conversation that way. I really don't have anything on this morning that I'm passionate, but I know before I'm done, we'll get a clue from the chat, and I'll try to keep up. Rick, on the kitten front, Rick says that he found at least 4 of the kittens so far. None of them are all black, which would pretty well guarantee that Milton's the daddy, but we still don't know for sure yet. But just so you know, Rick says, Milton says hi. Milton talks, evidently. I work from home every day. Yeah, it does. Every day feels like every other day. Weekends don't have the significance they used to have in the 9-to-5 world that I grew up in the 50s and 60s. Nobody worked from home. You went to work. You didn't just roll out of bed and be at work. Well, we got technology. For better or worse, we have technology. It makes this possible. And in that respect, it's better. We're tethered to these things 24/7. In that respect, it's worse. Sometimes I remember the old answering machine days where you could be gone all day. Nobody could reach you. Nobody knew where you were. You didn't have a GPS in your phone, in your watch, in your car. They couldn't locate you on the planet to within a few feet anytime they wanted to. And that includes the government, Google, Big Brother, and your mother, who has an app on your phone, so she can know exactly where you are at all times. We didn't have any of that. We were much, much freer. We had freedom. And we didn't worry about it. We didn't walk around all day anxious and nervous, and we didn't have anxiety. Oh, God, I wonder if somebody's trying to reach me. I wonder if I missed a call. What is it? How important is it? We wandered around all day. We got home. We took a glance at the answering machine. We saw the blinking light. We went over there and pushed the button. It was all on tape. And we got our messages. Today, some of the greatest anxiety that we do have is separation anxiety from being connected by our cell phones. If you ever left your phone at home, got in the car just to go to the store, and said, "Oh my God, I got to turn around and get my phone because somebody might be calling. I might get a text. I can't miss that. I don't want to miss that." I never used to be that tied to my cell phone until I had my stroke. And it was such a profound event for me because having that phone with me, even though I had a hard time using it, probably saved my life. That now I feel that separation anxiety from the phone. If I happen to leave it in my office when I go out to the kitchen, let's say to get a cup of coffee, and the first thought in my mind is, what happens if I have another stroke right now and my cell phone is in the other room? I don't know if that's a great way to have to live, but I've just gotten the habit now, and fear a repeat of what happened to me when I did have the stroke, that I have my push button that I wear around my neck to get help. I have a watch that's also a cell phone. It has its own SIM chip and its own phone number, and when it's on, and the cell phone's on, it's connected to my cell phone number, but I can answer calls, make calls. It has fall detection in it, which automatically texts my kids if it thinks that I fell. And I have my cell phone. And if I leave any of those three things separated from my physical self, I feel anxiety. I don't know if that's healthy or not. I don't know how great a way to live that is. But it just has to happen to you once, where you're in a position that you're helpless and you can't move and you can't get up. When it happened to me, if you remember the story, I had something cooking on the stove in the other room. I couldn't get to the stove. I almost thought I was just burned my house down. My 911 adventure was epic. So we do what we have to do. Is it a good thing? If it saves your life, it is, I guess. Who is this? This is Peter. How you doing, Peter? I said hi to you before. And Rick, every day is a work week for me. Well, a lot of people think you don't work, Rick. We talked about that last night. Everybody's looking forward to Quack Stock. Everybody is. And Humaira's here. Good morning. Good morning to you. Meat stock should be fun. Oh, what the hell? What the hell? Meat stock. I thought you said Quack Stock. And that's a great excuse to play another one of these.
Quack stock. Let's catch some ducks and cook them. Whoa, look, iguanas, they're part of the fun too. Grab your nets, everybody. Let's go. Got one. Let's cook. Whoa, these ducks are cooking up perfectly. Smell that aroma. And look at these iguanas scurrying around. They're honorary guests at Quack Stock. Grab your plates, folks. It's time to celebrate. That's the spirit, folks. Chase them down. Look at those iguanas go. They're faster than the ducks. This is how we celebrate.
Well, that doesn't look like it'd be too hard to set up, Rick. All we need is a big field. We could go out and rent a field somewhere out in the Everglades. I hope you don't get tired of seeing it. I don't get tired of seeing that. I think they're so creative. And Barry is up at Meat Stock right now. He's already sent me a couple of memes from up there. He's hooked. He's addicted to those memes. And I love it. I loved it. I think I said hi to most people. I'm at 706 in the chat. And Bev is here. Bev 20. Hi from Cincinnati. Hi, Bev. How are you? Good to see you. Everybody like the Miami is a cesspool. A cesspool meal, I guess. Yeah, Rick, you're a gift. The gift that keeps on giving, my friends. Yeah. Peter, Miami is a cesspool. Rick is right. I've been there many times. There's some beautiful places in Miami. Some very wealthy places. Some gorgeous buildings. And a cesspool in many, many, many neighborhoods. Just like most cities. Most cities. But it's hard to say. I've seen such a metamorphosis. Oh, wow. That's easy for you to say. Metamorphosis in Miami over the years. Back in the day when I was a kid, my grandparents would go to South Beach in Miami every winter and spend 3 months down there. My grandfather was wealthy, and he had a business that ran without him. He didn't need cell phones or pagers. They didn't have them. And they had an apartment that they rented in one of those South Beach high-rise kind of hotels back in the old days when South Beach was predominantly Jewish. Predominantly Jewish. Long before the Cubans came from Cuba or anything. It was predominantly Jewish. South Beach. They didn't even call it South Beach. It was just Miami. And they went down there every year, 3 months. And one year, they took me for a little while. And we flew down on one of those tri-tail propeller airplanes. And everybody was speaking Yiddish down there, and all the shops were like Jewish delis and everything, and it was something. It was something. I remember that Miami. Then Miami, it keeps getting taken over by different groups. Became very ethnic, very Cuban. Then it became a real mecca of gender confusion. Let's put it that way. Gender confusion. It goes kind of downhill, and then some group comes in and builds it back up again, and it keeps changing. It keeps changing. I don't know what it is. I haven't been there for quite a while. But it was great back in the old days. It was great. Sandy saying hi, and who else? Any questions? Any questions? Yeah. Rick says, you're in Miami now. Yes. Yes, very, very well put, Rick. Well put, my friend. And these are... Donna Ray was on our panel yesterday, and we all got to meet Donna Ray. Finally, we got to meet Bacon Runner, and Terry P. from Newfoundland was and they were both in the panel. And let's hope they do it again. I really enjoyed it. Thomas, how you doing? Good morning, Thomas. How you doing? And here's something Peter says. Isn't Mitch looking exceedingly handsome this morning, ladies? Yes. I agree. Thank you, Peter. Although I'd rather have that kind of compliment from a lady than you. Yes. So much chat. So much chat. Yeah. They're talking about my birthday. You must celebrate it, Mitch. Not many people get to that age these days. Or they get to that age, maybe, but they don't even know who they are anymore or who their kids are. Yep, Thursday, 7 p.m., the great birthday celebration. And next year, wow, next year it's going to be 80. It's going to be 80. I don't have any doubt that I'm still going to be around. I wonder, at what age do you basically say, I don't think I'll make it the next year? I don't think there's a particular age. I think it depends on your condition, but I try not to think like that. I try not to think. I would hate to, and I'm probably getting there, to a point in life where you stop thinking about the future entirely for you. You stop worried about, am I going to be able to afford what comes up in 10 years? Do I need to make different plans? We'll see. Very few of us ever know what that's like. We can hear older people talk about it, but until you experience it, how would you know? How would you know? Brian, good morning to you. BMAT, good to see you, my friend. And I keep it coming, Peter. Peter likes to compliment me. I appreciate that. Not many men look as good and healthy as Mitch at his age, almost 79. And I keep thinking, how different would my life be if I hadn't had this stroke? It's been a hell of a year. It's been a year and 2 months now. Exactly. February of last year to the end of April. I had my stroke the last day of February. So yesterday was 1 year and 2 months exactly. I've still got recovering to do. My life is not the same as it was now. I use what capabilities I have to try to keep continuing doing all the same things that I did. But the physical aspect of my life has really shrunk down. My world has gotten way smaller. And that little trip I took to Sarasota a couple of weeks ago to spend a day with Kilts, and the meetup that I went to over there were really the first times in that recovery period that I actually left the house. And there are some times when, even now, when a week goes by and I never leave the house, other than maybe go for a short walk. But as far as going to stores, going shopping, going over to Tampa to visit my kids, going over even in my son's house. And I have to conscientiously keep track of that and say, don't become a shut-in. Don't become, homebound. It's like being on house arrest, wearing an ankle monitor. My button has a GPS in it too. God, do they have a... it's scary. It's scary. I'll tell you what's scary. Google has a feature, and they said once a month they send me an email, and it says, "Here's where you've been last month," and they send you to a website, and most of us can go to Google if you've got a Google account, and you have to. It'd be on YouTube. And it shows you a day-by-day map. And it shows you a line and everywhere you've gone in that entire day. Really. And some days, like I used to be all over the place. I'd drive over to Tampa, see my daughter, and then the line went all the way from my house to Tampa, and then there, and then back, and then drive around there a little, and then come all the way back across the state to home. These days, I get those maps and the line goes nowhere. It stays at home. And it's kind of a stark reminder about what happens to us in life. And you start to think to yourself, well, maybe I need to make that line actually do something other than stay at home. I think now that the season is here, I may start... And I have to push myself to do it, but I may start going up to the pool and laid out in the sun by the pool and going to the gym there. We have a beautiful community center here in my community, but I'm not using it. It's just so convenient to not have to do that stuff. And just about all the work that I do involves this room that I'm in right now, in this studio, the computer work and everything else. And that is physically not getting me enough activity. So that's a daily struggle for me, because I just don't get around like I used to. So I'm hoping and I'm planning that next year is going to be my 80th year on the planet, which starts Thursday. That's my 80th year. I've kind of made a resolution to demand more from myself. So you guys, make sure I do it, will you please? And if I don't do it, give me a swift kick in the ass and say, Mitch, remember when you said you wanted us to remind you to get more physical activity? Because when most people my age have a stroke, it's the beginning of the end of their life. It's the beginning of a dying process, I think. I've seen it happen to so many people that I knew. I don't want that to be me. I'm not done yet. I don't feel like I'm done. I don't even feel like, even if I hadn't had the stroke, that I'm anywhere near retirement age, where I just want to drink beer, sit on the beach, play golf. I think that's when we all begin to die. I've seen it so many times. Enough of that. That's depressing. That's depressing. We need a little funny. We need something funny. Let's see. We've got a few new things here. I've got a few new things. Let's see. We have this one. Again, it is about Rick.
Welcome to the hard hat area. As you can see, the iguanas are falling from the sky. Whoa, look at that one. They're landing everywhere. Don't forget to beware of iguanas. It's in the warning.
We have a new character, folks. Hard Hat Rick. And we have Worthy Prince, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Good morning, Mitch. I hope you are well. Question: how do you figure out if you are eating too much or too little fat? Do you add extra butter to ground beef? That is a great question. And an excuse to go down a rabbit hole and stop feeling sorry for myself. But how do you like that? Hard Hat Rick, that's our new character. and it's raining iguanas from the sky. And that's why you need to have a hard hat. And they're in the trees, and certain weather conditions happen, and they start falling out of the trees. So you have to be very careful when you're out there underneath the trees that these iguanas don't all of a sudden end up on your shoulder or on the top of your head. And depending on how big they are, they may hurt you. They may hurt you. But that's a great question. It is the most important. And I keep in my mind scripting a video that I'm going to call the F word. I mean, this is coming. It's going to be coming. I don't know how quick it will, but the F word. Now, most of us remember the TV show, The F Word, and it was Gordon Ramsay, because every other word out of his mouth is an F-bomb. But I'm talking about a different F word. I'm talking about fat. A 3-letter F word. The most important solution to the entire health problem in the entire world. It is the one thing that RFK should be talking about every time he opens his mouth in front of a microphone. It's the one thing every keto and carnivore YouTuber should be talking about. The F word. It's that important. That important. Especially after almost 100 years of propaganda demonizing fat and having the entire human population of the world, save for a few carnivores and keto people, convinced that it is the deadliest thing a human being can do is to eat fat. Animal fat. I'm talking about olive oil or coconut oil or avocado fat. I'm not talking about any so-called plant fats, which are not fats. They're oils. It's a different thing completely. I'm talking about animal fat, saturated and monounsaturated animal fat. The single most important nutrient or macro necessary to sustain human life and health. And we are a world, an entire world, that thinks it's poisoning us and killing us and causing all these diseases. Absolutely negating millions of years of evolution, proving that that diet is what is responsible for us having survived long enough to be here today, and making up stories about how fat is bad for us. Kelsey talks about it every day. I try to talk about it every day. It is the one thing. If you remember nothing else, if you do nothing else, if you practice nothing else, if you take no supplements, if you do no exercise, if you only do one thing, and that is make sure, and this is where the question comes in, make sure that 70% or thereabouts of the food, now you can call it calories, you can call it energy, you can call it whatever you want, 70% of the food you eat every day is fat. If you did just that, it would almost make very little or no difference what you filled up the other 30% with. That's the irony of it. If you only measured fat, if you didn't even know what the word protein means, because most people don't, and define protein only as meat. Protein is a macro. It's just a type of molecule made up of amino acids. You can find protein in a lot of places, but the important thing is to eat the fat. eat the fat. Now, if you do manage to eat 70% of your food as animal fat, preferably not completely rendered, but I don't think it matters that much. And so many people will debate the raw versus rendered. I think that if you cook bacon and you manage to get it the bacon fat into you that had rendered, you're still 1,000% better. But that's an opinion. You know what they say about opinions. Fat, the F word. How do you know? Well, the reason that we evolved with the requirement for that ratio of 50% fat by weight and the other 50% whatever else happens to be in there besides the fat. Or if you're counting calories, 70% of your calories. But the easiest, every animal on the planet has the same requirement. If they're a carnivorous animal and do not have the gut to ferment all the fiber and create the fatty acids, the bacteria do that for them. If you're a carnivorous mammal, like the human being is, like a dog is, like a cat is, like most other monogastric animals, which means you have only one stomach, one chamber in your stomach, you don't have a hind gut to ferment all that fiber that you're eating in plants and sugars, you get most of your nutrients from fat. Fat does not make you fat. It doesn't clog your arteries. It doesn't do any of that stuff. It has the nutrients that we need in it. Most foods that we evolved eating have exactly the proper amount of fat in them. So if you eat these foods, you don't have to think about, am I getting enough fat? For me, I found that the sure thing, the absolute sure thing, the no doubt I'm getting enough fat. I can't help but get enough fat. I couldn't not get enough fat if I conscientiously tried, is an egg. And that's why I make eggs the cornerstone of my diet, of my eating. 6 eggs every day. It could be 10 eggs. It doesn't matter. And I've talked about this. An egg is nature's vitamin pill. How do you know? And I've said this many times. If you eat eggs, you're eating something that's as close to unprocessed food as you could ever find. The only way to screw up an egg is to screw up the chicken that laid the egg. And in that respect, you want to find eggs that come from chickens that have the best shot at getting the nutrients. But when you think about it this way, any egg that can be fertilized and hatch, by definition of the fact that a living organism comes out of it, is proof that everything needed to create life was in the egg. And most eggs, even the cheapest supermarket eggs, can be fertilized and will produce a living chicken. So even the worst egg is probably perfectly good for you. And if you happen to buy more expensive eggs, try to buy them, find them, farm raised eggs. They still have to give chicken feed to these pasture raised eggs anyway. maybe it's a little better, like the difference between grass-fed and grass-finished and grain-finished beef. An egg is pretty much a guarantee because no human being has ever seen what was inside of that egg, exposed it to any contaminant until the shell was cracked. And it's cracked in one of two ways. It's either cracked when you break it open and put it in a frying pan, or it's cracked when the chicken comes out of it. So everything necessary. An egg doesn't need supplementation to create a chicken. An egg doesn't need anything other than to be kept at the right temperature for a while, and the living chicken will come out of it. So I think we need to eat eggs as a staple. I know I'm getting exactly the right amount of fat if I eat eggs. I don't have to worry about, do I need to add fat to it? Now, unfortunately, we eat other things. We need other things. We're not going to eat enough eggs to get a day, to get enough energy and food, so we add things to it. Beef is the greatest thing. Now, even beef has fat in it, even if you don't see the fat. The actual meat itself does contain some fat, but you want to focus on the fattier cuts of meat. You may or may not be getting the right amount of fat. But it's something you have to be conscious of. Whereas with an egg, when you eat an egg, you don't have to focus on it. You're pretty well assured. Another thing an egg does is it actually soaks up fat. Have you ever cooked an egg, for example, in a non-stick pan, cooked it really well, poured it onto a plate, and seen any rendered fat in the non-stick pan? It's always perfectly dry. An egg, the fat that's in that egg, and there's a lot of fat in an egg, does not render out when you cook it. If you put a hamburger patty in that same non-stick pan and cook it, the fat's going to render out. If you put bacon in that same non-stick pan and cook it, the fat, not all the fat, that's the beauty of bacon, it will render out. But an egg does the opposite for some strange reason. I'm sure there's a chemical explanation for it, but I just noticed it one day and I said, this is cool. Because I'll cook a bunch of bacon, and you've seen that video of mine, I'll cook a bunch of bacon in the pan. A lot of fat will render out of the bacon. I believe the rendered fat is good for you, unlike some things that you hear. Maybe not as good as eating raw fat off a raw big hunk of meat, but still good for you. And I'll cook up the bacon, and then I'll make scrambled eggs in the rendered bacon fat. Okay. Uncooked bacon contains more than an adequate amount of fat. The trick is, how do I not waste that fat? And I'm not talking about the few drops of fat that may go on a paper towel that I might put my bacon on, because all the fat that was in that bacon is still in there, except for a few drops. And people make a big deal out of that, and I've talked about that. I think it's funny. Bacon crisps up when you set it on a paper towel, and that's why I do it. And I'm not sacrificing hardly any fat by doing that, because all the fat from that bacon grease has been soaked up by the eggs. So when I get done cooking that bacon eggs, like I showed you in the video, there's no fat left in the frying pan. The fat didn't magically disappear. I'm not like Kreskin and said, poof, where'd the fat go? Every drop of fat that was in that egg to start with, every drop of fat, save for a few that hit the paper towel, that was in that bacon, is in my breakfast or lunch or whatever meal of the day. So if I eat that every day, the F word becomes irrelevant to me. I don't have to think any more about, do I need to add fat? And once I eat that bacon and eggs meal, I don't worry much about whatever else I eat. And if I want to eat a meal that doesn't contain quite as much fat, I'm not going to worry about it because I've had more than an adequate amount of fat. Now, that's a long answer, but it is the most important thing for a human being to focus on, and the hardest thing to get them to accept and believe. That if you concentrate, forget everything else. If you can't supplement, don't have the money to supplement, you can't worry about it, you can't afford expensive cuts of meat, you can't do this, you can't do that. There's not one of us that can't afford to eat bacon and eggs. If you ate nothing but eggs every day, you could eat a dozen eggs. A dozen and a half eggs in one day. I pay $5.62. $5, $5.50 for a dozen and a half of those Sam's Club. It's the best eggs they have there, and they're good eggs. It must be because I'm still alive, and that would be enough food. I could actually live on less than $6 a day if I ate nothing but 18 eggs a day, and I wouldn't kill myself. I'd probably be as healthy as anybody on the planet. And just look out for the few things that might be missing. Gary, no slow. I saw before that Gary sent 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you so much. And then for some reason, here, Gary sent another membership. Thank you, Gary. Thanks so much. Gary's a participating member of our members community, and a cigar smoker, and my kind of guy. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that community is growing so slowly, but it's still growing. It's still growing. And our Thursday night things are tremendous fun. Tremendous fun. Well, thank you so much. So I'm going to make that video. I may actually take the clip from this morning's live stream. There's a thing that StreamYard has where you say, clip this. So I just said it. So maybe when I'm done, I'll have StreamYard go through and try to make the clip. I don't know if I like what they do, but it might be a start. But I might take that little explanation that I just did and make a standalone video out of it. So thank you for that question. And it's a great question. And keep that in mind. Focus on the fat. FOF. I like that. FOF. FOF. We'll make an acronym out of it. Remember, folks, FOF off. I like that. I like that. FOF. Focus on fat. Put that at the top of your list. Look for the foods that naturally contain the fat ratio, and it's a no-brainer. An absolute no-brainer. And it has to be a no-brainer, because if it wasn't, no animal would survive in the wild. They instinctively know what foods to eat, and coincidentally, those foods happen to contain exactly the nutrients that they need to be healthy. All we do with our big human brains is screw up things that work perfectly without any conscious thought whatsoever. We're good at that. We're good at that. So that's my message for this morning. It took up most of the morning. It usually does, but I'm glad it came up. I'm glad it came up. I'm going to race through the chat now because I'm so far behind. Question. Did you watch Curry's recent video? He made a mistake about promoting carnivores eating a lot of fat. He now says he was wrong. Well, that fits right in with that last question. I think Curry is wrong. Sorry. If he's not promoting high fat, he's going to be hurting people. I'm sure Rick says Curry needs attention to keep his channel going to 1 million subs. Well, good. I like Curry, and Curry's heart and mind is in the right place. The problem is There's so much misinformation out there. None of us know for sure, absolutely sure, what's correct and what isn't. And I see my viewers are going away in droves. I'm down to 77 viewers. I don't know. All the ladies left to go over to errands. I don't know what it is. But that's okay. Or maybe they don't like hearing me talk about the F word. Or YouTube is screwing up and not showing me an accurate viewer count. Because I was at 100 and some viewers not too many minutes ago. Whatever it is, it's still Friday morning, and I hope that I made some sense to those of you that are still sticking around. So I guess we have our troll here today. I haven't seen him, but I'm going to ignore him because we know who that is. Question, Mitch, from Gary. Cigar page is, oh, okay. I won't get to that today. Question, how do you like the new Typher oven? So far, I love it. I haven't cooked a whole lot in it yet, but I think for somebody that does not have an air fryer, at what it costs, I think it's a beautifully made and very versatile thing. If you're only going to have one appliance on your counter, I will not give up my Typher Dome air fryer. Now I'm at 63 people. So what's going on? Is YouTube screwing up? Are you all really still here? Or is everybody bailing on me? I've never seen this happen before. I've never seen my viewer count drop into the 60s this late in the stream. What did I do, guys? Did I say something wrong? Where's everyone going, says Tammy. I'm here, Mitch. Aaron is only live on Thursday. I don't see a troll. We enjoyed hearing you speak. In fact, hearing the wisdom. Aaron goes on live on Thursday. I don't think Aaron is live. Okay. Always, Lizzie. Keyword, naturally contained fat. Rick says going live once a week still does it. 60 is still a good number. No, but it's not normal. I mean, it's just not normal. It's just not normal. There's something screwy going on. I don't know what it is. I think sometimes, like, let me see how many likes I show on here. Yeah, it's just, well, I show 34 likes. 61 watching now. Huh. That's very strange. Very strange. Usually, it right up to the last minute, it just keeps growing and growing. But we're almost done anyway. It's 8 o'clock already, so now it's 60. So people are bailing. Everybody says, I'm here, present, ready for duty, here. Something's amiss, says Tammy. 14 likes on my, yeah, the likes don't increase like my viewer count numbers do. You have to almost refresh. My likes said 1 like through the whole live stream. So I just refreshed that browser and now it says 34. So you can't, I don't know how well you can rely. Now it's 58. Yeah, something's going on. I don't think people are bailing. I don't think people are bailing. I think there's something wrong with the YouTube. At least I want to believe that people, 54, wow, that is really unusual. So let me get to the bottom of the chat here and look for more questions, and we'll call it a Friday in case everybody is bailing, because I would feel very bad if I was continuing to talk and found out that I had no audience. Gary gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Gary. I really appreciate that. Questions. I'm looking. And here, Gary, give me another one. Was that a mistake, Gary? Did you maybe hit some button accidentally. Gary says, "Sorry, retired Rick. I tried. Were you trying to ask me a question? Did I miss something? You'll have to tell me. Send me an email, Gary, and tell me what I missed. Tell me what that was all about." Yeah, retired Rick and Gary were evidently trying to get a message to me, and I got the memberships. I appreciate that, but I don't know what it was that you were trying to get my attention on. Roger, last year I lived and healed on $6.62 a day eating pure carnivore. It can be done. It can. And I know I get a good deal at Sam's Club. I'm paying somewhere between like $4.50 and $5 a pound for that extra thick rice bacon, and I eat a half a pound of that a day. So that's $2 to $2.50, or $2 to $2.50 worth of bacon, and the 6 eggs cost about $2 because it's $5.62 for 18 eggs. Out of those 18 eggs, I get 3 meals of 6 each. So it's less than $2 for the eggs, $2 to $2.50 for the bacon. And that's it. And that is one hell of a meal. And satiating, my God. And high fat, no carbs, and to speak of, and the rest protein. It's the perfect ratio. And the eggs soak up all that bacon fat. So not any fat. Say for a few drops. How often do you cook something in a pan where all that's left is a couple of drops of fat? The eggs soak all that up. I think it's a brilliant idea. If you don't believe in the bullshit about can't eat eggs, too much cholesterol, too much fat, got to eat just the egg whites. We got to make an egg white omelet. How can we further screw ourselves trying to decide what to eat than the way we're doing these days? What'd you have for breakfast? Oh, I had a healthy breakfast. I had a kale smoothie followed by an egg white omelet cooked in a Teflon pan with absolutely no added fat. I'm proud of myself. Where's my ribbon to wear? Think about that. A kale smoothie or a spinach smoothie followed by the only part of the egg that has no fat in it, which is the egg whites. And people are proud. And in these trendy restaurants, they charge extra because it's so healthy. And these people are poisoning themselves to a miserable early death, but they're convinced because of the propaganda that they're doing the right thing. And aren't you proud of me? Well, I guess it was YouTube, because now I'm in the 70s again, back up 70, 75, and I know I'm not getting new viewers now, so I'm sure that was all a YouTube thing with the viewer count. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, because how can anybody leave this pretty face? Inconceivable. Unbelievable. All right, I'm almost up to 8 o'clock in the chat. We're catching up. I'm looking for cues. Everybody's telling me they're here. YouTube problem. Okay, Q. Robbie Autry, how can I tenderize a very tough steak? Thank you. That's another thing. The way the time-tested, tried and proven way is slow cooking for a long time. That's the philosophy behind smoking meat, like briskets and chuck and other tough cuts of meat. The longer you cook them at a lower temperature, the more they will be tenderized. That's the best way to do it. When you cook ribs, low and slow. The anthem of all the barbecue joints. We even have a barbecue joint here in Melbourne called Low and Slow. That's the name of it. And they make good stuff. So that is without a doubt the best way. Slow cooker, smoker, even an oven. I have 2 racks of ribs. Not baby back ribs, but ribs that I'm going to cook today. I'm going to prep them and I'm going to slow cook them, probably in the oven. 250 degrees for about 3 to 4 hours. I'm going to put only molded smoked salt on them. And then I'm going to cut them. There's 2 racks of them. I'm going to cut them. I made a video about this. I'm going to cut them in half, and that'll give me 4 meals of a half a rack each, which is a healthy meal. It's great. I'm going to take maybe 2, maybe 3, but probably 2 of them after they're cooked, vacuum seal them, put them in the freezer. The other 2 I'm going to eat either this afternoon or in the near future, and I'll put them in the refrigerator. And what is left is just finishing them. And you can finish them any way you want. They're already fully cooked. But you can season them up a little bit, put a little more salt on them, cook them in an air fryer, put them on a barbecue grill, get a little charcoal flavor in them. But you finish them up right before you're going to eat them. They're great ribs. Very inexpensive meal. But the slow cooking is the only way that I found that you can reliably tenderize. If you got a chuck roast and you throw it in a sous vide for 2 days, it's going to come out tender. You put a chuck roast in a slow cooker for 8 hours, it's going to just fall apart. You take a pork shoulder, some AKA pork butt, and cook it for 8 or 10 hours, at its lower temperature, and you've got pulled pork. I mean, the thing just falls apart. That's it. To try to make a steak tender, good luck. Good luck without slow cooking it. If that's why we like ribeyes, strip steaks, and filet mignon. It's a tender cut of meat by virtue of the fact that part of the animal's muscle kind of goes along for the ride and doesn't have to work real hard, and it doesn't get tough or fibrous. That's the best I can tell you. There's a lot of videos on YouTube by these barbecue masters that'll show you how to make a brisket that to die for. A brisket to die for. Oh, we were talking about it. Yeah, it was that. Sandy says, I see 43 likes. Yeah, I've got 34 now, so people are starting to say, hey, maybe I should like this guy. We're in the 80s now as far as viewers, so I think it was YouTube. It's not all that important, but we all want it. We do this and we work so hard, and we want to feel like we're appreciated, if nothing else. 8 o'clock, 8 minutes behind. Any more questions? Rick, I saw a fresh lizard tail on the sidewalk this morning. Something pulled it off. Yeah. Probably one of Rick's cats. They tear these lizards apart. You should see it. We got them down here, and on our back porch, we had 3 cats. And we're always finding pieces of lizards that these cats, they're cruel, these animals are cruel. They don't just kill them. They toy with them. They torture them for half an hour before they kill them. I couldn't watch. I thought it was horrible, but that's nature. That's just nature. And we got another one here. One more. Let me find it. It was I got that one. No, I already got that one. What is this one? That was Iguana Con, was it? What was this one?
Welcome to IguanaCon, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Rick.
Showdown.
We're celebrating the amazing culture of iguanas. Check out our booths on morphs, colors, and unique features. Let's make this the best IguanaCon ever. These unique features make iguanas some of the most
Rick,
fascinating reptiles on the planet.
You become the star of my show.
Come on, let's explore more of the hall together and celebrate everything iguana. And we all know that iguanas are a delicacy.
All right, we'll go to that. Now the count's down to 62 again. Come on, YouTube, get your act together, will you please? Now it's dropping like flies again. 60. I know people aren't that. Gary No Slow says 203 degrees breaks down connective tissue. Yes, anything over 203. I usually do that at about 250 in the oven. It works great. And Gary's good at it. He knows his barbecue. And another person that really knows how to do this stuff is Greg Smith, who was with us last night, the truck driver. Man, that guy can cook. That guy can cook. Let's see. We're getting there. 811, retired brick, anybody, yeah, he don't understand it. It don't cost him a penny. I don't know what that conversation is about. Okay, 604. I braise at 275. To around 200 never fails. Yeah, that's the best way to tenderize meat. I tried poking all the holes in it. That works a little bit, but nothing like slow cooking. But if you're looking to eat meat raw to rare, you're pretty well stuck with more expensive cuts of meat. Because the tough cuts of meat that are cheaper are not the kind of meat you want to just throw over a fire and singe it up and, like Kiltz showed you, you're just not, it's going to be tough. You can't do that with chuck. And I've tried, how do I make a chuck steak taste like a ribeye? It's a quest. That's a quest. How do I turn water into wine? I don't know. There's a lot of videos that are telling you how to make a tough cut of meat. I made them myself. The best I've ever found is low and slow. And then finish it, if you have to, fast. But do a base cook first. A long sous vide or 3 to 4 hours in a 250 degree oven. Okay. Question. Is someone having a meetup in September in Tennessee? I don't know. I can't help you with that. A. Mason. I'm sure we'll hear about it. Tennessee is a big state for carnivores. There's a lot of carnivores in Tennessee, including Ken Berry. A lot of carnivores. I think if I had to move to any state right now outside of Florida, I'd probably pick Tennessee. I've been there many, many, many times. When I was flying my model jets, we had a couple of fly-ins a year in Tennessee, and it's a gorgeous state. Beautiful state. A lot of people like living there. It's not so cold that you have like a northern winter. It's not so hot like Florida. Beautiful countryside. A lot of nice rolling hills. I really like the state. If I lived there, I would probably have a southern accent. I wouldn't say Tennessee. I would say Tennessee. How y'all are? Now that's a more New Orleans, Louisiana, I think. How y'all are? Everybody agrees with me. Gary says, but raw meat is the best. I guess if you dry age it, it's good. I saw you last night eating half a cow. That was inspiring. Gary downed to half a cow last night, raw. Dry aged for a month. He spent the entire live stream in the panel carving that away until it was a miracle. It was amazing. It was amazing. Okay, at the bottom of the chat, at the bottom of the chat, Tammy says, lots of really fat people in Tennessee. It is beautiful in the Smokies. Yeah, the mountains are gorgeous. There's a lot of fat people everywhere. I think you go up to states like New Jersey and the Midwest, it's incredible, the shape and size of some of these people. I've seen it. I used to go to model airplane events, and you see it, all these model airplane guys. There weren't very many really healthy ones. Most of them were huge and sick. You go up to the Northeast, it's crazy. It's just nuts. It's everywhere. FOF, everybody, FOF. Focus on fat. Think about nothing else, and you probably have a leg up on about everybody else trying to figure out what the best way to eat is. Now listen, I got to the end of the chat. People are still chatting away. The viewer count is like a roller coaster this morning. I'm going to believe that I'm still popular and you all still love me. And I'm going to go into the weekend with that. I don't know if Kilt is going to have his Sunday stream or not, because he's going to be busy. But he did come on this morning, and he had a good stream this morning from up there in Tennessee. And we'll see if he has a stream on Sunday morning. I'll be in there to participate. If not, I'm going to take the weekend off. I have a lot of work to do, computer work, get it done. And I will see you all on Monday. So, little happy music. Everybody can say goodbye in the chat. Nice. Lori, hi, Lori. Did I say hi to you yet? No, I don't think so. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Gary, thanks for everything. A. Mason, a big heart. Bride's Biscuit, West Virginia, highest obesity rate. Yeah, maybe. It's terrible. It's terrible. And if you think about it, you say to yourself, well, yeah, don't eat fat because that makes you fat. It's the opposite. It's incredible how that works. Eating fat makes you thin. Eating sugar makes you fat. Haven't we proven that already to ourselves? I eat nothing but fat. I mean, I eat a high fat. Look at me, I'm skinny as a rail. When I ate low fat diet, I was fat as a house. Now, how does that make sense? And we all have that attitude. My mind's made up. Don't confuse me with the facts. So everybody's saying goodbye. Good to see you all. It's been a great week. Had a great week here on YouTube. A lot of good times. I think some really great streams. And I'm going to start working on that, the F word video. So we'll see. We'll see. At any rate, as the music comes to an end, so must all good things. Here it comes. See you on Monday, my friends. In the meantime, take the rest of the day off and eat fat and meat.